Okay, we're live, Jill. We're officially
Hey,
live.
how are ya?
Yeah, so everybody who's hopping on here, this is Jill McNamee, and she has been in the business for how many years now?
Oh gosh, 15 or 16 now? Yeah,
And you
a
are a
long time.
I know you were a lead generation machine. I met you a few years ago when
Yep.
I was just a peewee, and you had no idea who I was. And I'm always trying to learn from people who are 10 times bigger than me, just absolutely killing it. And I'm just like this peewee. I closed like maybe like 10 deals that year, right? And I was at Mega Camp, the family reunion, not Mega Camp, family reunion Keller Williams event down in like Austin, Texas. You probably don't even remember this,
No,
but
I do remember it. I think we met at the airport on the way home,
somebody was
actually.
like, "That's Jill McNamee." I was like, "Oh, that's Jill McNamee. I've heard her name a few times, and I think she's somebody I want to talk to." So I took my bag, walked, sat down next to you, and I was like, "Hey, Jill, I'm Dan." Like you're probably like, "I don't know who you are," but I was like, I know, I want to get to know you, Jill, and understand what you do." And I think one of the things I took away from our conversation is that you're just like a lead generation machine, which is why I wanted to bring you on here to talk about lead generation, the mindset around lead generation, what you do during lead generation, how do you protect your time and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that because now 5 years later, you're inspiring me as my journey takes a different direction, and I'm probably doing less and less of lead. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm still lead generating. I'm lead generating in a different way now, for
Yep.
different things. But yeah, so and you inspire me every day. So thank you for that. And meeting you, it's been a great mutually beneficial. I think I've benefited from our relationship probably as much as you. So I really appreciate that. But yeah, as far as lead generation, well, I think lead generation it has to be like in your culture, right? I think there's many different ways to do it, and sometimes people think, oh, it's got to be cold calling or door knocking or stuff like that people don't want to do, and that's the beauty about it. Is I feel like there's a different way to do it no matter what your personality is. That's the fun about it. But I do think if you don't build it into your day, it just, how real estate is, like everything
Yeah.
gets in the way, and you just never get to it. And so I guess from the beginning I just always knew that my phone was not going to ring. I started in the business in 2008, and in 2008, like, everyone's going, you're getting into real estate, like what? Like, I just knew that if I just sat around and waited for my phone to ring. So I early on in my career started calling expireds. Um, so I would say, that was just knowing that I had to like hustle for it. It wasn't just going to show up.
I'm just writing
Yeah.
some stuff down here as I'm hearing you talk because I want to bring up some points.
Yeah. Well, I also think like you have to be committed to it, right? Like it's like going to the gym, and I as I am, we're coming off of the Christmas, and talk about weight gain and all that. But if you think about it this way, if you went to the gym for, on one day and you spent 8 hours there, you're not going to see the same result as if you went consistently over 1 or 2 months and spent a half hour a day. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, it's not the fast track. And
Yep.
that's where I think people get hung up, is the consistency piece of it. Is that they start lead generating, they're like, well, I didn't get anything, so it's not working. I
Yep.
didn't get anything. And it's like, no, it's consistency over time. It's like a build up, the compound effect of what you're doing today that's going to show up 30 or 60 days from now.
You ever read that book?
Yes, I love the compound effect. Yeah.
That's one of the most
Yes,
life influential books in my life
for sure.
is the compound effect. And the thing I
Hmm.
took out of that is once you compound an action over and over and over and over again to a certain point, it's like an avalanche coming down a mountain. the results that you get from that. It's like,
Yes.
it takes a lot of energy to get that ball rolling, but once that snowball starts rolling, there's no stopping it. It's like just, I mean, once you put all that lead generation activities in, it keeps coming. It doesn't mean you can stop lead generating, but you just keep lead generating, and you almost get more business than you think you should even be receiving. Sometimes you're like,
well,
holy smokes.
I kind of feel like too, it's like that you create that momentum that then your business explodes. Like when in 2008, when I first started lead generating, like someone gave me the Red Book in 2008. Like I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any mentors, anything. Yes. Someone gave me that book and just said, read it and do what it said. And out of sheer stupidity or not knowing what else to do, I read the book and just did what it said. And before I knew it, I was out producing the person that gave me the book.
Yep.
So again, it's having that consistency. So the other thing, consistency to me, or I guess commitment to me, means that you'll do whatever it takes to get it done. Like there was one point, and I don't even know why I'm not still doing this. I went every single week and I took $800 and $20 bills out of my bank account and I gave them to my admin. And I said, for every single day that I don't bring you my sheet with 20 names on it, you get to keep the $20 bill for that day. Nice. So I would say for probably like 4 months straight, I did this for me and Zach. So it was 400 for me, 400 for Zach. And that equaled, you know, Monday through Friday, we had to go earn our $20 back from our admin. And if we didn't have 20 names on our sheet, she got to keep the $20 for that day.
So can I clarify?
That's being committed.
Yep.
Like, that's like, okay, I want my $20 back. So I'm not going to go home with only 15 contacts on my sheet that day.
It's accountable.
You know, and there were many days during the 4 months that we did it that she got to keep the $20.
Yep.
But you know, when I say committed, that's what I mean by, are you committed? Like, that's commitment. Like, I was willing to pay money if I didn't do my job that day.
Yep.
You know, so again, I like, now that I'm sitting here talking about it, I'm like, why am I not doing that right now? You know,
I have an idea, Jill. If you don't, I'll be the person that gets the $20 and I'll hold you accountable. There we go.
We should do that, because yeah, I could really use it right now, for sure.
I'll take the $20.
I got a lot going on. I'm juggling a lot right now. So yeah. Let's talk about that.
Actually, I was looking down and scribbling some stuff earlier. You kind of talked about, like, when we talk about lead generation, people watching this video, or for example, maybe people watching this video, maybe not, people that I talk to oftentimes about, like, when I talk about lead generation, they oftentimes think I'm just cold calling random people, right? Like, and I listened to John Abrams. I think that's how you say it, Abrams, right? Talk probably like 3 years ago. I went to Minneapolis or St. Paul area. I don't remember where it was, but went over there, listened to him talk, and he's like, this is your life. Your business and your life are so closely connected. Make your lead generation something that you actually enjoy. So do something for your lead generation that you do like. And if that's not cold calling expireds, which I do, I call expireds. If cold calling to expireds isn't something that feeds your life and that you don't get enjoyment out of it, not saying that lead generation has to always be super enjoyable. However, if it's not something that matches, if it absolutely does not match your life, don't do it. But what is going to replace those contacts? If you're not going to call expireds, what are you going to do? If, for example, one thing that I like to do is I like go to the gym. So I will contact, this is just something I do once in a while. I'll actually I'll purposely contact maybe 20 to 25 people who I also know they go to the gym, and invite them to go to the gym with me. And most of the time, one or two of those people will be like, oh yeah, let's go hit up the gym at this time on this day. But it's something that feeds me. Like, I enjoy doing it. So I naturally like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. And I also like to throw parties. Like, I like to host events. And I like to have fun, engaging events where people come in and they just have the time of their night, the time of their
Yeah.
life at my events. So we'll host massive events where we'll have 100 to 150 people show up at a, like this last time we did it at an arcade bar. And for me, yes, it was work, but it was so fun and gratifying seeing my friends, my family, everybody come in and just hang out together. And then they all got to interconnect too. So we
Yeah.
kind of built this connection with people that are not necessarily connected all the time. To me, that feeds me. And I learned that from Jason Abrams, right?
Jason Abrams. Yeah.
I learned that from him. And he's like,
Yep.
don't do things that don't feed you. And I think Jason Abrams,
Right.
he likes sports. Like he liked basketball
Mhm.
games. So he would invite people to basketball games and he would sit
Yep.
behind the bench and make connections with basketball players. That's
Right.
how he built his
Well,
business.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, okay, if you like to sit in coffee shops and play Scrabble with strangers, like have a Scrabble party. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's so true that you know, and that's what I said earlier about lead generation can be anything you want it to be, because if you're with your people, like you said, having parties, that's one of our favorite things to do too, is have events. And you're right. It's like an excuse to have a party, but
Yep.
you're actually creating business or creating relationships because of it. And if you think about how much lead generation there is before you have an event, during your event, and then after your event, it's like, you know, it gives you a reason to call them and not have to, you know, not have to beg them for a referral. You know, you're just calling them, inviting them to the event. Once they come or they don't come, you can reach out after and say, hey, sorry, I missed you at our event. Hopefully you'll make it to the next one. You know, there's events create a lot of opportunity for lead gen, because you can even, you know, people are doing snail mail again, you know, you can even mail
Yep.
them and invite to your event. So we
We
love
snail
events too.
we snail mail everybody in years
Mm-hmm.
past. In years past, what we did was for our Christmas event, for example, we'd have Santa Claus there, and we would encourage everybody to come there to take pictures with Santa Claus.
Yeah.
We would keep those photos. We would go to Sharp 1 hour photo, Sharp 1 hour photo printing
Uh-huh.
service. We would print them out their own Christmas card that says "Merry Christmas," the Johnsons from Dan Realty Group. Then we already have their address because we've already mailed them an invite to our party. We'd actually handwrite their address on their card and send it in the mail to them. And guess what is going to be on their fridge for the next 10 years?
Oh yeah.
Is their
Their
Christmas
picture.
card.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that took a lot of time? Yes.
Yeah.
But what's the
Mhm.
time dividend value of that being on their fridge for
Right.
those many years, and them recollecting that night that we hung out with them over and over and
Well,
over
and
again?
it's not super expensive either.
It's
You know,
not.
it's a touch that they'll remember forever, and it's not super expensive.
Exactly. And the point of events also, like you said earlier, like my one thing is kind of like I the gym idea, the
Mhm.
Christmas event idea. We host a cookout every year.
Uh-huh.
We host business networking events, business
Yeah.
owner networking events. Like we like to do those kind of things for anybody. If they like video games, for example, host like a video game party night where
Yeah.
you bring your friends over and all hang out. Like it doesn't have to be a certain thing. Even if it's 10 people, it's still an event, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think too, it's whatever hobbies or passions you are. Like for me, if you look at my Facebook feed, you can tell like I'm very passionate about rescue animals. Well, what's happening is I'm attracting those types of people who are also passionate about that. And now when they're ready to buy or sell, they're reaching out to me because we have a mutually common interest.
Exactly. Yeah. So
So
and again, posting stuff on your Facebook is another source of lead generation for me too. Like
yeah,
I make sure I post one thing a day on Facebook.
yeah,
Um,
you do a really good job with your social media.
I just made it a commitment years ago. I was like, it's
Uh-huh.
free. It takes me probably less than 3 minutes to think of what I'm going to say, type out, and post it out there, and it
Yep.
gets in front of hundreds of people.
I know, I totally agree with you.
What
Hmm.
other mode of transportation are you ever going to have that time ROI? You know?
Yep. Well, I started a local Facebook group for women business owners. So
Oh, that's awesome.
I just named it Women Business business professionals of the St. Croix Valley. I started it on COVID year. It was like June of 2020. I have over like 1,200 people, 1,200 women in that group now.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm
that's
getting
awesome.
business from people in there that I met in the group that I didn't know before.
Yep.
So I know like they're coming right from the group. But what I love about it is you have your own private pond to fish from.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm the leader of the group. I can, if I don't like something that somebody posts in the group, I can remove it. It's,
Yep.
it's probably the one best thing that I ever did to that, and St. Croix Valley Girls is probably the best thing I ever did for my business.
That's
So,
amazing.
mhm.
Let's take it off. I know you got 5 minutes here, and I want to utilize this time. Other than events, because I know we're both huge on events, we love them.
Mhm.
An agent who gets in this business probably isn't going to be throwing an event, right?
Right.
For me, what I did when I first got into business is I started, first of all, I started putting a database together, and I really focused a lot on my SOI, my database, which just kind of goes hand in hand with events.
Mhm.
But I did a lot of geo leads. Like I started calling neighborhoods.
Oh,
That,
yeah.
I
Circle
mean,
prospecting.
circle prospecting, calling neighborhoods that around a listing that one of our broker, somebody from our brokerage had a listing, just
Right.
stuff like that. I don't really care where people get their internet or where they get their list from that they're going to call.
Yeah.
But I think what you said earlier, the consistency and actually
Mhm.
having the time blocked out in your calendar. I'm actually going to
Right.
share my screen here because I have, I'll show everybody what my calendar looks like quickly. All these green, can you see my screen?
Yeah, that's what I have on mine too.
So I went out to the end of January just because my calendar wouldn't be cluttered so you can see it easily.
Uh-huh.
My Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the mornings are for internet lead generation. And on
Yeah.
Wednesdays, my internet lead generation is literally create content, which is what we're doing right now. Ironically,
Right.
this is my lead generation time on my Wednesday, and I'm creating
Uh-huh.
content, which is what my one thing was on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I like that. You know what I like about yours is, so like on mine, I just have it blocked out lead generation. Like I
Yep.
don't have it down, like it's kind of like go small to go big, right? I love that you actually have on there what you're going to do for your lead gen.
Yeah.
I think I need to change that for next year and actually, because then it's like you open up your calendar and you know, like, oh, here's what I need to do for lead gen today. It's all spelled out for you. You don't have to think in your head like, oh, what do I feel like doing today? Because I feel like sometimes I get call reluctance and I'm like, oh, I don't feel like calling my sphere today. I'm going to call expireds or I'm going to call, whatever. Um,
So have you ever built out a GPA or a GPS before?
yes. Uh-huh.
So we actually
Yeah.
renamed it to GPA. It's goals. What are your 3 priorities around that goal? And then what are the
Uh-huh.
3 activities for each of those priorities that are going to go around the
Yeah,
goal?
that's really good.
We break that down and basically what the activities that we agree on that we're going to be able to get to that priority to hit that goal, those go into the calendar. And for me, contacting a sphere is 3 out of my 5 lead generation days.
Right.
Because I have so many people in my sphere that I could spend 5 days a week calling my sphere if I
Right.
wanted to.
So what's
Obviously
your script when you call your sphere? What are you saying to them?
we here's my rule of thumb. We always have an event for somebody to join. So right now we're doing a wealth series. Well, last month we did our Christmas event. Right now we're really pushing the wealth series. It's a educational
Uh-huh.
event that we're doing. The next month we're going to be hosting a buyer seminar. So like we always have a reason for calling, and the
Okay.
script is going to depend on what the event is. And so it could sound like
Right.
this. Hey Jill, how's it going? Was just calling you to let you know that we're going to be hosting a Christmas event on December 15th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Reboot Social downtown. You ever been there before?
No, it sounds awesome.
Yeah, you never been there before. Well, it's a super cool spot downtown, and we're going to be having it's actually an arcade bar down the basement, and we're going to be giving out tokens for everybody to play games, and also we're going to be giving out a drink ticket. So make sure you make it
Oh,
on down there.
fun.
And by the way, do you have, like, I'm kind of planning my calendar for this next year right now, going into 2023, and just wondering if you have any real estate plans that I should be aware of going into this next year.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, I'm planning on buying another house in Florida.
Awesome. Awesome.
So
Yeah.
if you can
So
help me with that, that would be helpful.
the greatest part about this time of the year is that it's a very easy conversation to say, hey, I'm just kind of planning out my next year. Do you have any real
Mhm.
estate plans that I should be aware of?
Yeah, that's really good. Uh-huh.
I 90% of the time when I call somebody, it's not about real estate. It's more so me
Right.
just connecting with them.
Yeah.
But I will sprinkle some real estate stuff in throughout the year.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, I feel like all of our people that we're calling, they know what we do, right? They know
Exactly.
we're the one to call when they have a need too. So yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, you got to get going, don't you? Anything
Yeah, I have to be across the street in 15 minutes for an appointment. So
that sounds good. What
okay.
any other last words from the ever famous Jill McNamee?
Oh my gosh, you know what? Just do it and be consistent, and the universe will reward you for doing the activity. That's the other thing. It's like you might be calling expireds today and get nothing, but later your phone's going to ring from some random person that's going to need a listing. It's like I feel like there's like the energy that you put out when you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing, the universe just rewards you. Like
Yep.
it's I don't know. I mean it's so weird. I can't explain it, but you know, if I'm consistent with my lead gen, I might not get business from that call that I'm making today, but for some reason it'll just show up. It just always does. So I would just say, you know, make
It's
sure it's on your calendar.
1,000%. And one last question, sorry. Let's say you have your phone in front of you, you're sitting down for you're a new agent, you're time blocked from 9 to noon to call expireds, right?
Yep.
You have call reluctance. You don't want to make that phone call. I think everybody has
Yes.
felt like I don't want to make a call right now, and I'm angry at myself because I don't want to do it, even though I agree to do it. What is something you're
Uh,
gonna say to yourself, a mantra that's gonna get you over that hump?
well, I like smile, dial, make a pile.
I love
But it
that.
doesn't really go with my big why, which is, you know, creating wealth for myself so I can someday retire. So I just think about that because, you know, my goal is to buy more Airbnb properties so that I have passive income and that I can someday, you know, retire. So you know, not making the call is not gonna get me toward that goal. So I
Yep.
always just think about that and the life that I'm creating for my family and my grandkids. And I guess it's having a big why, having a why or a reason for why you get up and do it every day,
Yep.
you know, which
I
is a
remind
whole
my
other conversation for another day, right?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's awesome, Jill. I'll let you get going here.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate you hopping
All
on here.
right. Well, thanks so much, Dan.
Keep killing it, Jill. See ya.
We'll talk soon. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.